Merriam's online academy. Today we're going to be focusing specifically on the 30-second note section of Für Elise. If you've already learned the song, you'll know that this is the most challenging part of the piece. I've taught Für Elise for many years to many students, and these are the practice tips that have proven to be successful. If you don't already have a copy of Für Elise, be sure to follow the link in the description below, and I'd also like you to check out my full performance video. First, I'll start off playing at full speed and then half speed, and then we'll get into my practice tips. So here that is at half speed. All right, so here's practice tip number 1. First, we are going to start slowly and recognize the pattern in the right-hand notes. So let's just take a quick look at the score and outline where this happens. So we are going to take a look at here to here. And the pattern in the right-hand notes is all centered around a C position. So we have the C up to the G, and then it's like we come up a scale here. Now notice, I use my thumb on the bottom note of every single one of those. Then we have a broken C triad, down the C scale, then the same thing again. So coming up the scale here, C triad, down the scale. So that's the pattern. Now, let's take a look at practice tip number 2. So we do that nice and slowly, make sure we've got every single note. And I just did the right hand for now. So next we're going to take a look. We're going to take the right hand alone, and we're going to hold down the G. And the second important thing is we are going to rotate our hand to play the lower note of the pattern. If you want the technical term for this, this is a lateral rotation. So to really get a sense for how to do this, first of all, your hand has to be curved and your wrist has to be high and your thumb on a slight angle like this. So we're going to take this G and we're just going to hold it with our pinky. Then with your right hand, you're going to drop into the C like this. And that's how to get a sense of the rotation and being able to drop into each one of those notes. If you don't do this, often what times is the pattern looks like this. And it becomes very awkward and uneven. So this is a way to keep it even and controlled and get a good sound. So one more time, we're going to hold down that G and slowly drop your thumb into all of these notes. So I rotate the whole side of my hand. You could do that numerous times until you get comfortable with that pattern. Then once you do, you can add those upper notes, and then if you want, hold the G again, rotate into that bottom note like this. So the next step, if we take a look at practice tip number 3, is to, again, we're going to go slowly and we're going to do the right hand as written. So instead of holding down that G, we're going to play it, but we're going to keep it really, really light. And that was part of the point of holding down the G so that we could keep it light and not have it too heavy, because this also doesn't sound good. Like that. So instead, we're going to add the lower note and play the G. So here's how that would sound. So we're playing the G, but we're giving a slight emphasis on the lower note. And then same thing, G, light on the upper note. Like that. So that's how to get really, really comfortable with those notes. Now, next step, practice that 1,000 times, and then you'll be good. The next step is going to be to add the left hand. So this might get a little bit confusing, adding the left hand in there, but you want to do that slowly too, just so that you can see how all the notes line up, because it's easy for it to get uneven or your notes to be misaligned between the hands. So we're going to start right at the beginning of that pattern. Add the left hand, noticing that it lines up with that thumb every time. watch your fingering in the left hand here. Back to the C. And then we do that again. Lining with the thumb. One more time. And then I have my students do the cycle, which is basically to just repeat that pattern over and over and over. And that way you can get really, really comfortable with it. It's sometimes not beneficial to play that whole section all together and move on to the next part of the piece. It's sometimes really, really beneficial to just isolate that section and repeat it over and over and create a bit of a cycle on it. And then you can get into my last practice tip, which would be to gradually increase the tempo until you can play it at full speed. So here's how that would look. Starting slow. A bit faster. And faster. So that may take a week or two or a few days, whatever you need to do, but I would keep going back to those steps again to ensure that that rotation works really well so you can get all of the notes clear and even, and then gradually work up the tempo when you're ready. It may take some more time, it may take less time, it's up to you, but definitely isolating that section is the whole key to having success in playing.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching Merriam's Online Academy. Check back here for more videos and don't forget to subscribe below.